Okay, thank you folks for coming, stopping by after the service today. Is Joe running? Okay, we're live streaming this and recording it too, so if you missed something, you can go back to it. Thank you folks for joining online or viewing this. I'd like to start with some thank yous. We have quite a team behind the financial team this morning. We got the accounting team. It's headed up by Ross Roby. We've got contribution management by Kari, bookkeeping. We've got Touchpoint transition leaders. A lot of you have heard about Touchpoint and how we're changing things up there. And then incredible finance team that has helped put all this together. So some of we'll start, the agenda today is we're going to go over some of the 2023 highlights, and then we'll take a look at the 2024 budget, and we'll have opportunities for questions. So if you do have a question, raise your hand, we'll repeat it. Online, Dale's monitoring any chats that come in. So highlights from 2023 are on the screen here. We had really strong giving, incredible giving, 7.8% favorable. We'll see the details in a minute. We had a couple of amazing gifts early in 2023 by a family. They contributed $31,000 to the general fund, and that was amazing. And then another $20,000 was bequested, so incredible thank you to that family. We have a good general fund and capital campaign 7 budget, our final figures. We'll show that in a minute. And we had really good expense management from all the teams. So that was, again, 1.2% favorable. That was great. Deanna is not here, but thanks to her and an incredible management with, we have a lot of rental income that we didn't expect, that she's managing very well for us. The Touchpoint transition started in 2023 and is really doing well. And then we had part of the landscaping out there that the state's doing is they're going to use some of our land. So it's not a boulevard lease. I'll change that terminology. It's actually a, what is it? Easement. Thank you. It's an easement. So we'll correct that for next week. But we got $17,000 for that easement. So that's the highlights. Yes, sir. Touchpoint. What is Touchpoint? Great question. So right now in today's world, we're managing the church. There's like 5 different membership lists. If you go to a membership list, that's not maybe the source of truth. We identified like 5 of them. And from the church windows aspect, where all the contributions, that was a very antiquated system. It was, you had to actually sit at the terminal here. There was no way to do that remotely, and Kari can attest to that. That was a very painful system to learn. We've got that, and so those 2 pieces together made us think that there's probably a better way to do this. And so Touchpoint integrates all of that. So there'll be one list of members, which we've already done. There's like, what, 3,000 on that list? Yeah. And volunteer management, registrations for like VBS and Student Spot. And
there'll be a special report in next week's annual report.
Yeah, so a lot of neat things will be coming out of that. And then, yeah, any other questions on the highlights? Okay, some of the details behind this, I just wanted to point out that, the other thing is, as you remember, Capital Campaign 7, we previously had paid off the mortgage. So the remainder of those funds are at property's discretion to use for capital improvements. So just wanted to refresh our memories on that point. On the detail slide, we're going to go through this item by item. No, kidding. There's 3 things I want to point out here. One is the general fund at the end of the year is just shy of $76,000. Amazing. The Capital Campaign 7, this is after the mortgage has been paid, so we've got this available for capital improvements, $193,000. Excellent. And then the other thing is way over here, where we ended the year, $23,286 positive. That's where we ended expenses, or income minus expenses. So again, very, very favorable into 2023. Any questions about that? Ron?
We did get that large contribution of 31,000.
Yes.
So our year end might have looked differently.
It would have looked differently, absolutely. That's a great point out, because we were expecting 2023 to end negative almost 10,000, but without that big gift, it would have been a negative 7,000. So it would have been really close to the projection of what we had. But yeah, you're right, that gift really helped. But it would have been right on. And you can see here's the big gift. And then there was another one in March, but that was something different. But that kept us. And then the chart on the bottom here, this is the capital campaign 7, and it had initial gifts here. So the ideal line is the gray one. We're right there. So we had a very good, strong December giving for that.
And Mark, just a reminder for the group, like capital campaign 7 ends next.
Yes, in like April, May timeframe. Yep.
May of 2025.
Yep. Got a little bit left to go on that. Very cool. Any questions on 2023? Dale? Okay.
No text.
No text. All right. We'll go on to 2024 budget. So the highlights here again are thanks to the team leads, to stewardship and finance, because a couple weeks ago when we put the initial look together, we had a gap here of income minus expenses of $29,000. And we did a temple talk, our financial touch point, to ask for more pledges, and we did get more pledges. We got about $14,000 in increased pledges, and the rest of it we took a look at the expenses, and we decreased some nursery expenses because we're using, we don't need the nursery for overflow during the service. The East Lounge serves that purpose, so we don't need to staff the nursery. There was some contingency expenses in property that we can't have on the general fund. We'll fund it if we need to, but as for purposes of trying to balance the budget, that got taken out. And in reviewing that, we found that property found that we should increase one of the line items for contracted services, so we spun that in. Plus, overall, there was prior to 2 weeks ago, we had spun in about a 2.5% increase for staff salary for cost of living. So that's all in here. And with all of that said, the gap is now only $7,000, so less than 2% of the gap there. So amazing response from the congregation, and good work on the teams for taking a look at the expense side. Any questions? Christine?
Repeat what you just said about staff.
Staff gets a 2.5% increase.
And so that's been maintained. That wasn't cut out.
No, that's maintained.
Okay, thank you.
It was in there before, and it still remains in there. Yep, great question. Oh, yeah, the question was what was the details of the staff increase, and there was always in the budget for a 2.5% increase, so that was not adjusted at all. There was another question somewhere. Yeah.
What goes into the welcoming environment expense?
Welcome. This is a mission budget, so there's a blend of the staff that gets the single biggest contributor to the budget is staff. So what we've done behind here is kind of what staff kind of is involved in which mission. So there's kind of a sprinkling effect. So we can look at the details later, but that's kind of what happens.
It also includes use of the building as well, for the groups that come in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Cindy, yeah, it includes building usage as well. That's kind of sprinkled into kind of the general property type things. Yes, question.
Are there limits or concerns about the amount of rental income will have come in as far as being a church accepting outside income?
Is there a question about the limit of rental income?
Or are there rules regarding that?
There are certain rules that what the question is about rental income. Is there limits? Are there rules? Yes, there are some guidelines that the renting entities have to abide by. So far, I don't think we've run into a limit. It would be space, really, availability with calendar. So we have had some collisions with some things with the Light of Life, but we've been able to work through those. So we haven't really got a big, and from my point of view, I don't think we've had a big collision with anybody yet.
We don't rent to
So there is a rule then, okay.
So there was a question and a clarification. There's a rule that we don't rent to for-profit entities. It's one of them. Great question.
Is the parking lot still being used for the?
Parking lot, a question on parking lot, and it is still being used by and maintained by McAllister.
We trade services on that. They plow it for us and they maintain it. So there's no cash, but they rent it by the services they provide us.
Can they hear that? Okay, Ron's saying that we trade services, so there's no cash being traded back and forth, but they'll come over with their plows and plow it out and so forth. Great questions. Any other questions? Ron?
Could you list our runners? Who's running from us right now?
Oh my goodness. I will try. There's a short list. Cindy's putting on her microphone to help me out here, but we've got the National Lutheran Choir has got an office upstairs. We've got folks from McAllister come over for music things. We've got Light of Life that comes in. We've got the Coin Club. We've got, it's Al-Anon uses the East Lounge. That's the top 5 that I know about. Am I missing anybody?
office to a group. We rent an office to a group that that works with gifted kids. Used to be located in McAllister, now they're here. And I'm thinking of another one.
There's a Gifted Kids group. And
Right. Coin Club. Am I-
music lessons from McAllister, yep. Mentioned that.
And then there's a music school that rents space from us. We have at least one piano teacher that rents space from us. Most of it is small. Light of Life takes up the most room. And then the 2 offices upstairs.
Okay. Great question. Anything else? We'll ask Dale if there's anything online, but
No texts.
no texts. Any other questions? Make sure that I covered what I wanted to on the agenda. So the budget, thanks, and we've got the gap. Questions on 2024? No questions? Okay, then I guess there's only one other thing here, and it's a shameless plug because I've got the microphone. February 4th is the breakfast. I'll be here. So, any questions about that? It'll be. I guess that's it. Short and sweet. Thank you all for your diligence. If you do have any questions, please reach out to myself or to Jackie or to Jeff. Any of us, Pastor Cindy, any of us that have any questions. If additional pledges come in, we will be able to go in and revise this and even close this gap a little bit further. Ron?
The $7,000 that we're a little short, within the whole budget that we normally work in, that's a manageable amount,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You guys aren't worried about that?
No, not at all, because we have to try to balance the budget as, from a fiducial standpoint. I'm saying the word wrong, but from if you recall the general fund, we have a big cushion to work with.
So, as Jeff Engelking always says to us, this is one-time money. We don't want to carry a negative for long, but this gives us some time to work on that. I just want to come up here and say thank you to many, many, many people. One of them is Mark and Jeff and the team that put this budget together. I cannot tell you how many hours they fought with numbers and trying to move this over here and trying to get it all together. I am deeply grateful that we have a budget, and that it's a good one. I also want to say a huge thank you to the finance team who does an amazing job of watching over the church's finances. You can trust what they say. There are a lot of eyes on these numbers, and they look at the details and they make sure it's done right. I'm so proud of the way finances are managed in this church. I want to say a thank you to the Touchpoint crowd, who are taking a million different pieces of software and smushing them into one, which is going to make a lot easier for the staff and volunteers that work with finances and registrations. And I think perhaps our website may come through them, and it's going to be kind of a one-stop shop. Watch, in a couple months, there's going to be an app, an Immanuel Lutheran Church app. It's coming through Touchpoint. And finally, I just want to say thank you to you all. I mean, we cried out, hey, the budget needs help, and you all responded. The gifts that came in were such a blessing. So thank you to everyone who pledged, to everyone who increased their pledge, and to everyone who doesn't pledge but still gives. We are grateful because we do this together. We are self-supported, and we do this together. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. I can't say it better. Thank you, Cindy. That's it. Thank you all.